Oh, Tyrone. Okay. Hey, Tyrone, how are you?
Good.
Good. Glad to have you in with us this evening. All of you are here because you all have been invited to the Women in Business Expo Group Girl Get Your Money Right event. So we are going to be talking about money and finances this evening and encouraging everyone to get their finances right. Now is the year 2021. Things have happened 2020. So we definitely want to encourage, uplift, inspire all of us, to get our finances right and take a look and become more aware of our finances. So let's go ahead then and get this evening started. My name is Carmel Bias, and I am the president, CEO, and founder of Women in Business Expo Group. Women in Business Expo Group is a nonprofit organization here serving the Seattle-Tacoma area. Our mission is to support and empower business-minded individuals by providing resources that develop leadership skills and enhance healthy personal and professional growth. So I have been running this organization for the last 6 years, since February of 2015. So Women in Business Expo Group is now 6 years old, which I am very, very proud of. We do a number of different services, providing a number of different resources for small business owners to be able to accelerate, grow, expand, market your business, and just give you that support it is that you need to definitely move forward in your business. One of the things it is that we do here at Women in Business Expo Group is provide monthly empowerment sessions. This event here is what we do every fourth Wednesday of the month. I put on a monthly empowerment session. I normally have a guest speaker that comes in and provides resources, support, whatever it is for small business owners, for those it is that may be looking to start a business, already in business, or just need some help with marketing. So definitely, something to consider for those of you that are business owners that are looking to maybe, like I said, start, grow, expand, and market your business. Another service it is that I offer, this is prior to COVID, but hopefully being able to get back into this, is doing quarterly networking events. And this is normally where I bring in business owners, allow them to showcase their products and services, and then also have some networking and that kind of thing too. So I've done a number of networking events. Also, we put on very large community events. So this is where I normally will pick an area in the either Seattle-Tacoma area, and do a large community event where we have vendors, guest speakers, food, all kinds of fun things that go on too. So there's a lot of work it is that we do here in Women in Business Expo Group to be able to support, like I said, small business owners, business-minded people, and give you those resources it is that you need, to get your business off the ground and going. If it's just a thought, or if it's something it is that, like I said, that you've been working on for a number of years, we want to be here definitely to support you, to encourage you, and empower you as business owners to have successful businesses. So that's what it is that we are all about here at Women in Business Expo Group. This event tonight, like I said, is definitely part of that. We want to bring more awareness to our finances now, and just shine that light on being good stewards, over our money, and over our financial business matters, that kind of thing. So that's what tonight is all about, and I've got some great speakers lined up for you guys here this evening that are going to bring some great information and hopefully, turn that light bulb on above your heads and get you to start thinking, towards the future financially. And where do you want to be, in hopefully, 10 to 20 years from now financially? Where do you see yourself, wealth-wise? Health is wealth. So we definitely want to, shine that light and encourage us all to have great health and great wealth. Definitely. So tonight, our speakers, like I said, are going to bring some great information. We're going to have a good discussion about finances, and hopefully you will be able to walk away, with some insight tonight on bettering your health, your wealth is what it is. So definitely that. Also, too, one thing it is that I want to share is that at Women in Business Expo Group, one thing it is that we do is that we also have our own radio show. I do a bi-monthly radio show called Women Empowerment Talk Radio. And this is where I am always looking for small business owners to come on and be able to interview them, allow them to share their story, what they have going on business-wise, and just interview them to let others know about what it is that you're doing, business-wise. So if you know of business owners, if you're one yourself, you are the person it is that I'm looking for. Definitely contact me. Let me know. I'd love to interview you on the air and give you that exposure it is that you need, to help your business grow. So that's something else it is that we offer here too at Women in Business Expo Group. So definitely, again, if you know business owners, if you're one yourself, we want to encourage you to reach out, so that we can help you get that exposure, that marketing that we need, that we all need now to get our business on the road and get it moving. So definitely consider that. So once again, like I said, I just wanted to introduce myself, let you know a little bit more about the organization and the work it is that we are doing. But we will go ahead now and we're going to transition into our event tonight. But before we get started, one thing it is that I always like to do is I want for our guests to go ahead and introduce yourself. If you don't mind, we can go ahead, give us your name. If you're a business owner, your business name, and then where you're located. If you're here in the Seattle area, or if you're in another state or Kent or Federal Way or wherever it is that you're at, we want to kind of know where it is that you're at and know a little bit about you. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I think, Gina, you were one of the first that came in. So why don't we go ahead and start with you?
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Again, my name is Gina, and I'm here in Seattle. I am with Primerica Financial Services.
Awesome. Glad to have you, Gina. Thank you. Regina, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Regina Pugh, and I live in Everett, Washington. And I don't have a business yet, but I'm joining so I can get some information. And, I'm at that point of kind of frustrated. Where do you begin? Where do you start? What? So hopefully I get all my questions answered. That'll help lead me in that direct path. So thank you for having me. Thanks, Sylvia.
Yes. Awesome. Glad to have you, Regina. Yes. Miss Theodora, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay. Yes, use your imagination for my face. Yes, I'm Theodora Mays, and I'm kind of a newbie here to Seattle. My husband and I moved here about 4 years ago in 2016. And we moved here from San Francisco. And one of the things I was blessed to have done to have accomplished since I've been here in Seattle, I was blessed to be able to get my first book published. And that was a major milestone with me because I had been sitting on the fence with fear for decades. But I thank God that I faced that fear and did what I did. And I've actually just, as Carmel would tell you, I just designed my first calendar that's incorporated with my book. And it turned out really nice. And so I know about this Primerica. I used to be with Primerica, but I am right now with Legal Shield. And believe me, y'all, this thing is the best thing since electricity. Oh my God. There's so much value to it. Such a low cost. I tell you, I'm singing his praises every day. Y'all get with me on that. I'm telling you, I can really help y'all. So, yes, and I'm very much involved with our church organization while I'm here in Seattle. My husband's the pastor. The United House of Prayer, 2801 South Walden Street, where the church everybody knows with the lions and the praising angels on the top. We have service nightly. Anybody's interested? It's time now we really need to be praying and praising. So that's what we do every night. Believe me, it makes a huge difference in your health and your wealth and everything. And I'm so grateful to be here, Carmel, and thank you for the invite. And wonderful meeting all you wonderful people. God bless.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Theodora, for that. Thank you so much. Yes. Miss Tamara.
Yes, that's correct. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I'm Tamara Taggart, and my business is Beyond Hypnosis. I'm a hypnotherapist, and I was local to the Renton area in downtown Renton. But my offices closed due to the COVID. So now I have entered the virtual world and it's amazing. It's working really well. And I've actually found that people often prefer the virtual therapy much better. It seems that people are even getting better results because they're right there in the comfort of their own homes, where a lot of the presenting issues are taking place. And so we're solving those issues right there. I'm also an author. I've written a book. It's called Spiritual Healing Through a Breakup, Partnering with Pain. And so I really go deep into a lot of scripture. I use scripture, and I've recently discovered that scripture is really the best psychotherapy that anyone can have.
Yes.
And I've been able to really be blessed with a lot of guidance in that. And so my book is going well. I do hope to get it into print, into hard copy. Right now it is an ebook that I offer on my website as well as Amazon. I've also written about 12 vegan cookbooks, Tam's Healthy Kitchen, and I'm excited about that, really assisting us, especially our people, with improving our diet so that we can remain healthy and strong. And again, thank you, Carmel, for inviting me to this. I really look forward to being a part of this organization and networking with all of you. I look forward to interviewing, as well as interviewing you on my radio show. I've also been a podcaster for the past 10 years with the Illuminations Media Network. And so again, I'm glad to be here.
Go ahead. Okay, awesome. Glad to have you, Tamara, for coming this evening and being a part of our event. And glad to meet you too. Once again, also too, we have Tyrone. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Tyrone. I'm from the Linwood area. And it's a pleasure get to learn more from you ladies about business.
Okay.
It gives me an opportunity to learn more about everything else. So this is it.
Okay. Awesome. Are you a business owner, Tyrone, at all, or interested at all?
I'm a business owner.
Okay. And what's the name of your business?
I'm in the security business.
Oh, security. Okay. Awesome. Well, glad to have you tonight at our event. Is there anyone at all that I'm forgetting outside of our guests, outside of our speakers tonight? Is there anyone else? Okay. Well, I think we all have had our time here to introduce ourselves. I will go ahead now and introduce to you our guest speakers for the evening. Our first guest is Miss Cabby Albright, co-founder of Better Properties of Renton. So she's going to present to us tonight and talk about real estate investing. Cabby is excellent at the work it is that she does. If you are looking for a real estate agent, someone it is to talk investing, someone it is to talk building wealth, this is the person it is that you want to talk to. She definitely knows her stuff. I love Cabby dearly. She is dedicated, she's committed, and comes with a great wealth of knowledge. So why don't we go ahead at this time? I want to present to you our first guest speaker of the evening, Miss Cabby Albright. Cabby, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and then start your presentation.
Hi, thank you so much, Carmel. It's always a pleasure to be and talk to you. Hi, everybody else. I'm Cabby Albright. Like she said, I own Better Properties, Northwest Renton. We've been in business for about 3 years. We're right in Southeast Seattle. My partner and I worked really hard at kind of creating kind of a safe community. We have about 18 agents now, and we're continuously growing the firm, and we specialize in development and investment. So that's kind of right up our alley. I'm not very good at like Zoom calls and video chats. I'm mostly just with people in front of me. So if I'm a little clunky, just bear with me. But Carmel, did you want to just start right into real estate investing now? Oh, she's gone. I think that's what she wanted to do. So, I don't know if you guys have been really watching the market, but the real estate market is incredible in Washington State, especially in King County, Pierce County as well. But really, there was just numbers that came out yesterday or the day before that said we're up 13%. And that's in the middle of a pandemic from last year's numbers as far as what property values are worth. So this community continues to grow as far as just owning a home in Seattle or in King or Pierce County, you're going to be putting money in your pocket. So a lot of people think that, when they move here, I deal with a lot of transplants that sometimes may have the idea that if they live here and they only plan to be here for a year or 2 years, 3 years even, that it's not a good idea to own real estate in Seattle. And that's probably the biggest myth that you can come across. Renting in Washington State is literally paying someone else's bills. You literally can own a home for 2 years and gain equity and actually cash flow at the end of that term that you were here. And I spent a lot of energy focused on that's really what kind of pushed me into real estate investments. And I've done lots of auction flips. We've done some new construction, new developments, and then just really people that are just, I think the notion that to be a real estate investor, you have to have a wad of cash in your hand, and you have to have these extremely high credit scores or this, $100,000, $200,000 of liquid cash to kind of work with, and that's really not the case. There's many ways you can get into investment, so I'm mostly going to talk about how to get into investing in real estate. Just working a regular 9-to-5 job. There's nothing wrong with that. You can work a 9-to-5 job and become a real estate investor. And the easiest way to do that is to get your credit score above 620, and save money for a down payment, earnest money, and inspections, right? By owning a home, purchasing if you don't own a home already, you purchase your first home, you can very easily in this market grow in equity. And what that means is it means that you can literally have a nest egg after you've just been owning your home. So you own your home for 2 years, you may have increased 10%, 15% in value in the home. You may have originally bought your house for $400,000. Now your house is worth $500,000. So there's many ways that you can then invest that extra $100,000 by pulling out 75% of the value in the home, paying it down, and then pulling out a line of credit and using that for an investment property in the future. Your actual single family home or the home that you live in can actually work for you as an investment property. So one way is to just purchase your home, hold on to it, and pull out a line of credit from it, and then use that to invest in another form of real estate. Another way of easy investing is to purchase a home that's a single family or a multifamily home. So most people don't realize that you can buy a FHA home off of the FHA loan, first time home buyers, or even a conventional, which is probably the better loan to purchase right now. But get into a home, and by buying it as a person that's going to live in the house, you can purchase up to a 4-unit home. So you can have a multifamily unit, live on one of the units, and rent out the other units for cash flow. That's another option for investing. If you happen to come across a lump sum of cash, there's also auction properties. Right now, that market is a little bit dead. But in the years past, it's been a huge, huge, huge money maker for some of my investors, where they're, obviously they're trusting someone like myself to go in, find the property, secure the property, and then help them rehab the property and get it back on the market for sale. And that turnaround time was, anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And these investors were yielding 30 to 50% return on investment. Real estate happens to be one of the safest and most secure places to put your money in. And even when you think about, what happened in the recession and, predatory lending, even with all of that said and done, and in the past, I think it's put a kind of a stigma on real estate investments. When in reality, a lot of people got rich during those times. And, so a lot of people lost money, but a lot of people got rich. And so it's really about figuring out and talking to the right people and maneuvering how the money that you actually have currently and how to make it work for you long term. So, another option was real estate investing in auction properties, or even buying a house, living in the house putting sweat equity into the home and then selling it for profit in a year or 2 years after you've owned it. That's another way to gain real estate equity out of a property really quickly, is to put in that sweat equity if you're handy. And that could mean getting a house that's really just pink walls all over the place, and somebody just listed it, and it was, who knows what the circumstances was, but they may have listed the house. You make sure that the house has good bones and the systems are proper in it, and then you're really just doing a cosmetic rehab. And those rehabs can yield someone, $30,000 to $150,000 in a smaller investment. So those lump sums of money are really huge in sweat equity properties, as long as you're making sure that you're putting the right things into the house and not going crazy on picking things that people don't want to see. I think some of the big common mistakes that people make when they're doing kind of a fix and flip type of scenario is that they're putting things into homes that they like for themselves. And I think that's the biggest mistake an investor can make, especially in this market, is putting something in because they love it, right? And I'm a designer naturally. Originally, like my first career, everything was all about design. So I love putting stuff in that I love, but that doesn't really manifest all the way. It doesn't really, transfer all the way when you're dealing with people that want to buy the house. You want to make sure that the home is appealing to a broad group of people. So neutral colors. For a few years, the grayish was really popular, that almost gray, almost white, painting the house the right color, putting in things that are usable, not making, maximizing space in smaller homes. One thing that we did a lot of when I was flipping a lot of homes was converting garages into bedrooms and bathrooms, like an additional bedroom and bathroom in a small 1-car garage house that had 2 to 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, converting a single family house that is now turning a 3-bedroom house into a 4-bedroom with a master ensuite, because of that garage often has water in there. And although garages can give you some value, about $15,000, $20,000 on an appraisal, that bedroom can give you buyers, right? And so that extra bedroom has been huge when you're still dealing with smaller homes that are like 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. Adding that additional bathroom is really, really key. And a bathroom addition could be anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000, which could then make you another $50,000. And people don't realize that it's such a huge investment it's such a huge amount that can come back to you if you make the right decisions in the flip, right? I can just talk to you about one flip that we recently did. We ended up holding the property, but we purchased a home, and I'll give you my Instagram information later on, because I often post things about flipping and different projects and choices that we're making on the projects. But one big project that we recently did was, we call it the Stinky House. It was in Hillman City. We bought it for $300,000. We put about $270,000 into the property, and we appraised at $1 million. So you can see the return of that investment was huge. It was more than what we put into the house. And it was a huge investment turnaround. And that project took about a year. We converted a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house into a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a loft. So we converted the attic into a loft space, usable space. So that added square footage there. There was a deck, there was a covered patio. We converted that covered patio into the master bedroom and added another bathroom with a walk-in shower. We made the finishes really, really nice and high quality, and utilized every single square footage of that house. Instead of using weird closets and weird angles, we angled things in a way so that it was a very open space, and we were able to use every single nook and cranny in that house. Downstairs, there was a half basement. And this is why that price point for that renovation was so high. Downstairs, there was a half basement. We jacked the house up 15 feet and put in 2 bedrooms, a full kitchen, a living room, and a really nice spa-like bathroom in a otherwise dungeon, basically. So we converted a dungeon into an entire apartment. So that home alone, the appraisal of it was $1 million. It was able to grow in equity, over $300,000 in equity on that house after everything was paid back off. And then on top of that, that house is now a cash flow property. So one person, a family can live upstairs and a family can live downstairs legally. So there's lots of ways to kind of, I don't know, what is the term? There's lots of ways to skin a cat. I'm so bad at those terms, but like lots of ways to skin a cat. But, you know, there are several ways that you can kind of get from point A to point B. You know, the stock market, you know, there's different ways you can kind of diversify your money that you have, but sometimes people pull out from their 401k. If they've been at a job for a while, they'll borrow against their 401k for a down payment on a home. And that is probably one of the safest things you can do to purchase a home. If you don't have any money, if you're not able to save the money, if you have a 401k, that's probably the fastest and the easiest way to get into a home, is borrowing against that 401k, because the penalties are very low and you're able to get yourself into a home. Because once you're in a home, it starts to grow in equity, and you can, you know, eventually, you know, continue to build from that. You know, I think that people often ask me, one of the most frequent questions that I get asked from buyers or just people is like, when's the best time to buy? And I was looking at some real estate kind of like jokes recently, and one of the jokes was, you know, the answer to that question, when's the best time to buy, is always 5 years ago, right? So when you look at the market now and you're like, oh, this market's so hot right now, there's multiple offers, you know, securing yourself with a really strong agent that has a great reputation in the community is the best way you can secure a home. Right now, you know, houses even in Puyallup are selling in multiple offers for 26 offers on one house. And those types of numbers can make a first-time home buyer really shut down and not want to be in the market, right? But for instance, one of my buyers that recently just got her offer accepted, we wrote on a house that had 26 offers. It went $100-something thousand over asking price, which was just not, it took it out of her wallet. Like, we weren't even in the running any longer. But then the next offer she wrote, she won in multiple offers, 17 offers, you know, and, you know, but there's sometimes buyers are writing 10, 12, 15 offers to get one offer accepted. But the reason why that is because they're still growing so much in equity. Even if you pay a little bit, you feel like you paid more for your house than it was probably worth, your house is going to still be worth a lot more in a few years. So and even in the event that, you know, there's a lot of talk right now where the market could crash, and this could be a lot of hypotheticals about the real estate market. And, you know, even being a real estate broker in this market, you know, people have thought I was crazy when I first got into this business, but investing now, in the event that your home, real estate is like a wave. So let's say this year you guys everybody in this group buys new homes, and then next year the market tanks. In a couple of years, that market's going to go way up, and it's a wave. It'll still go way up. The goal is, if you have assets and you have real estate and you've invested in real estate and then the market tanks, you need to just figure out a way to secure and hold on to those properties, because they will go back up in value. Everybody always needs a home to live in. So real estate market is always going to continue to move. People always have life things happening. People get divorced, people get married, people lose their loved ones, people have babies. Life happens. People get relocating. They relocate in and out of the city so much. We have one of the highest relocations in the city. So there's always going to be momentum and movement in this market. So there's always going to be room for you to grow and for you to gain equity with real estate. I think that was it. I'm done talking.
Great job, Miss Cabby. Excellent job. Exactly what it is that we needed to hear. You know?
How do you do this? So.
Yeah. Exactly what it is that we needed to hear. You know, so for those of you that have questions, what we're going to do is we're going to hold off on the questions right now, because I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest. She's going to bring us some information here in regards to retirement, savings, and kind of looking towards the future here. Miss Nerissa Jimenez is as a financial coach with generational health and wealth. So, and Miss Nerissa, I've known her for a number of years now. She is super knowledgeable when it comes to retirement savings, and just getting a better understanding about your finances. So at this point, we'll go ahead and welcome Miss Nerissa, our guest, one of our guest speakers for this evening's event. So go ahead, Miss Nerissa, why don't you go ahead and tell our viewers, our listeners, a little bit about yourself, and then go ahead and start your presentation.
Oh, I sure will. I'm going to jump right into my presentation. Hi, my name is Nerissa Jimenez. Some people call me Coach Nini, so I'm going to go in. And if you could give me the ability to share my screen, make me a co-host, then I would be able to share my presentation.
Okay, give us 1 minute.
Okay, okay. I'll talk while you guys are working on that visual. Because I'm a visual person.
Anybody else visual like me?
Yeah.
And I'm also an interactive person. So this is not going to be Nerissa talking at you. I really encourage you to interact with me, because that's where you get the most value when you're interactive, right? So please feel free to, we're gonna do questions at the end, but if I ask you something, please respond. And also, I love that, is that Theodora, she took her, I saw her beautiful face. So if you don't mind coming in and being visible, it allows me, because we have lost a little bit with this COVID, right? We would normally be sitting next to each other and interacting. And so, I do it too. Like, my hair is not together, so I'm gonna put my little thing on there. But it's not about that. Let's just come together, right? Because we need this. It's healthy for us. It's healthy for us. So if you can and you're willing to do that, please come and be visible so we can see your beautiful face. We won't judge you. No judgment zone here, right? So, and no shame if you decide not to do that. But I just want to encourage that today. All right. Well, let me see. Can I now do that? Can I share? Oh yes. Okay. Good. Let me share this here. That I don't need you to see that or that. Apologize there. Okay, so let's make this visible here. And I am going to dive right into my presentation. So we're talking about being physically and financially fit and creating plans that work. So my company, like the beautiful Carmel just said, is generational health and wealth. And it is about this generational thing. A lot of us know that from church, generational curses and different things along those lines. But that's the name of my company, and you'll understand why in just a moment. And again, my name is Nerissa Jimenez, and some call me Coach Nini, and I'm a financial fitness coach. So really looking at your finances as well as your health. So I'm going to touch on a little bit of both. So I've got over 30 years in the financial arena. I've worked with a lot of nonprofits, 20 years in ministry in the hilltop of Tacoma, still doing some ministry at nonprofits. So my heartbeat is volunteerism, and the community is my heart. So over 30 years in this community, but I'm originally from New York, but I've been here more than I was in New York. So this is home for me, and a lot of my family is back east. So I think this environment fits me better. So I teach financial literacy. I'm a certified master financial coach, and I'm a licensed national provider in 8 states. And so broadened myself a little bit by coming out from under an umbrella and now own my own company. And I'm just excited about it. It just recently happened last year, at the end of last year. So it's in my blood. Entrepreneurship is in my blood. And I'm a real estate owner, and the Cabby, bless you, your knowledge was awesome. And so that's one of the things that I do to build wealth, as well as I have 2 properties now, and one property that's in development. So I'm passionate, driven, risk taker. So walking in purpose to help others with their physical and financial healthiness. So, and I'm also the visionary behind Generational Health and Wealth Financial Series, where I partnered with real estate and let's see, inspector. And so we came up with a little series that we did together. I'm a big collaborator. I believe that if we come together, we're better together, right? And so I think that's very important that we support each other in our community. You know, that's really, really important to me. And then for not just fun, but to keep me healthy, I am a dance fitness enthusiast. So I do get up every day. I roll out of the bed Tuesday through Friday, and I have someone that I work out with. She challenges me, I challenge her, and I also teach dance fitness on Fridays. So you are welcome to join me. So friend me on Facebook so you can figure out how to join me in that class. So my mission of my company is to help others be physically and financially fit by encouraging generational health and wealth. Why do I do what I do? You see my beautiful family on the left. We have a compound because everybody is still with me, especially during COVID. I have a son who does Airbnb. He's 29 and he does a little, so he's here and there. And that's the oldest one. That's my oldest son who's 29. Yes, I have a 29-year-old son. And then my daughter down front, she's 27, and my son, I'm so excited. Yesterday, we just found out he got accepted to PLU. He got the Act 6 scholarship. Yay!
Yeah.
Look, debt-free degree, okay? That's what I'm talking about. So we you know, I'm it's a privilege and an honor because the first two didn't do it all like that, but the last one, thank you, Jesus, he's doing it. So I'm grateful. So, okay. So you see them there. That's at my 50th party a couple of years ago. And that's us at our church in Tacoma. And so I have a picture of a house here because, and my dad, who has passed away, he passed away about when Leah was just born. So my daughter, who's 27, she was just born, he passed away. He struggled with diabetes, high blood pressure, all of his life. We all know people. We all, some of us have some of those things. So my company and the mission of my company is to help with those, our community get better, healthier, right? So it comes from the seed of my dad, right? So he struggled with that. He passed away from a heart attack. We're coming out of Heart Health Month. So we want to be healthier physically, right? And I work with my clients to get them to a point maybe where they're insurable. Okay, some cases I have challenges insuring some. And so I also am able to take certain cases because we specialize in where if you weren't able to get insured, I can quickly help you get insured. Because I have over 30 providers, carriers that I work with. So some are non-medical, and then some are like quick turnaround. So you know how sometimes you get with, you know, it takes a long time to get, you have to get your paramed done, you have to get all that. I specialize in those that quick turnaround, okay? So that, I just kind of like to tell why I do what I do, because that's important because it's foundational to my whole company. Right. And that's my wonderful dad. He was able to walk me down the aisle, and I feel blessed because I was one of the only one in the family who got that honor. And I'm first generation here in the United States. So both my parents are from Panama. So I'm Afro-Latina, and so he was hardworking man, and you guys know that kind of a man, right? Who wanted the best education wise. And a lot of us have dads that are that way, or have dads that have passed away that are that way. 4 things that we need in order to strive, 4 areas that we need to consider is we need to look at our health, our purpose, community, and our finances. Okay. I'm really going to focus on the health and the finances. I'm just going to touch on the purpose and the community. Okay. So, quote here from Jim Ron. He's in the state, he's a speaker. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. And so we need that self-discipline to take us over, right? And I have my own personal quote: goals are good, discipline makes your desired accomplishments a reality. Okay. So I always like to ask this question of my clients, is that what, and so this I'm gonna ask you to unmute really quick and just get a couple of people to just talk to me a little bit, okay? What is your idea of being physically healthy? And what is your idea of being financially healthy? Just really quick, anybody wanna just chime in? Physical.
Me, physical and financial, they go, you know, hand in hand. And for me, both of them are all about freedom.
Yes.
If
Ooh,
I'm
I love that.
physically healthy, I'm free to do whatever I want to do, when and how I want to do it. If I'm
Awesome.
financially free, again, I'm free to do what I want, when I want.
I love it, Tamara. That's awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else want to jump in real quick? Okay. I love that. I'm gonna move right along here. So you saw my quote. It takes the same disciplines, like Tamara said, to accomplish both physical and financial success, right? So a lot of people say physically healthy means exercise, eating right. Financially means, you know, paying my bills, providing for my family, saving for the future. My approach is I assess everybody's situation, because everyone's situation is unique, right? It's no cookie cutter when you deal with these scenarios, right? So I help you define your physical and or your financial goals. I map out an affordable plan that works for you and your family and or your business, right? Because I work with small business, I work with solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. I have some of my clients that are in the mix right now. So we review plans and adjust over time, okay? And then, so let's talk health first. I'm gonna speed through some of these, but you would get one-on-one with me coaching. So detoxification, being healthy is, you know, what we have in our lives makes a difference, right? So we need to get rid of the toxins that are in our lives. So whether it's physical, environmental, personal, you know, we gotta make sure that we're well overall, right? And so getting rid of unhealthy substances or toxins will allow us to be healthier. So here's some of the ways to, you know, detox. Is a better digestion, clear skin, more energy. So if you detoxify your body and your home, you can, you know, you get rid of these things. Brighter complexion. Like I said, you know, a lot of people don't believe I'm the age that I am. It's because I practice some of these things consistently, right? Become less dependent on food. You know, so these are some of the things, and it's not just about, it's also about physical and mental as well. And then there's people that are toxic that we need to get rid of in our life. I'm gonna just leave that right there. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, okay? So how do I detox? Green smoothies. I have a one that I do, it's a warm smoothie, and I can, oh my gosh, it feels like a warm hug when you wake up in the morning, okay? So I love it. Green, more green leafy with protein. There's a, you know, an eating habit, like it's called Whole30. I don't practice the whole regimen, but I eat more, I like the recipes. I like the recipes from Whole30. You can Google it. So it's more proteins and green veggies. Detox waters and teas are very, very good for just cleansing your system. Having a tea in the evening. I do sleepy time tea, and sometimes I do smooth moves in the evening. Boom, I'm good, right? Next day, I don't have no issues, right? So vitamins, probiotics, supplements, key. You need these. We need these in our life. In this region we live in, we need D, a lot of vitamin D3. So, and so I can share specific supplements that you need. When you detoxify, what you put in, key matters. I'm giving you just a quick, your liver is important that it's cleansed, right? So here's some liver cleansing foods that you can get, like garlic, grapefruit, green tea. 45 minutes after you have your meal acts as a detoxifier, okay? Not right after, but 45 minutes after. Turmeric, amazing.
for inflammation, right? But it also cleanses the liver. When the liver is cleansed, it helps your overall body function better and detox better, right? So again, what we put in matters. So here's about what we put on our body. You know, I'm going to go back to what we put in. You know how we use Cascade. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll come to that. So what we detox our body. So what we put on our body. So there's like certain things you're putting on your body and they have chemicals in them. You should be using more natural products to avoid those chemicals, those you know, the free radicals and, you know, all the parabens. You hear about these things, right? There's a reason why people talk about them. So those are the things that you want to avoid putting on your body. And you can see the list of those right there, okay? And then here's the things about detoxifying your home. So detoxifying your home. So things that, so we're talking health and wealth, okay? Does that make sense? Health and wealth go hand in hand. So cleansing your, like Cascade, you know, when you put your dishwasher, you put the Cascade in there and they still have the water from, you know, it's still hot, right? And then you put your food on there and you kind of taste the chemical. I was a Cascade girl. So when I just thought about this and then I started doing some research, you're actually eating that chemical, okay, with your food. So you want to do things that are more plant-based, biodegradable, that don't have those chemicals in them. So I'm going to leave it there. Again, I'm going to recap here for the health. Surroundings, people, places, and things, toxins, get rid of them. What you put in and on your body, it matters. Quality and quantity counts. We can be healthier, but we can be eating too much, right? Of our, like we tend to supersize, right? So we need to watch our portion control and we need to have quality things that we're putting in and on our body. And then movement matters. We already talked about dance fitness. So find something that makes you excited to move. So for me, it's dance fitness. So that gets me going, but everybody has their thing. Find your thing, okay? So now purpose, quickly on purpose, you got to find your why. When I have my clients, I always talk about the why. First of all, my why, and then their why. Why did some of my clients fill out a form and I get them and they want to do mortgage protection on their home. So I need to know, well, why did you want to do that, right? Everybody has a why for what they're doing. You need to know what your why story is. You guys heard my why story, right? With my dad. And what is your why? It also helps you as a small business owner. We're talking to some of you that are, so for your branding purposes as well. So figure out what your why is and incorporate that into, you know, into what you do. So center yourself, start your day out right. Can I admit this person? Is it okay? I have somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, so center yourself, start your day right. I hear a lot of you are people of faith. It's very important that you start your day right, center yourself, and then with reflection and gratitude, right? So that's purpose. So quickly, community. We're going to talk about that just briefly. You know, to whom much is given, much is required. Carmel talked about being stewards, good stewards, and being part of our community and sowing into our community is part of being a good steward and leaving a great legacy. So for me, that goes hand in hand with the overall picture of being healthy overall, right? Because you for right now, you know, we've all been going through something, and there's days that we've all had bad days and good days in this past season, right? If we're all real and authentic, right, we're going to say this has not all been pretty, but the reality is there's somebody who might need something more than what I need, and it gives perspective, right? So doing something in community and reaching out makes the difference. Let's talk about the financial piece. And this is where I'm going to really quickly go through this. Proper life coverage. A lot of our community, we don't have the proper life coverage, or we do not have it. We're not fully protected. An example of that is where our mortgage, we should at least have our mortgage and our debt covered, right? And so disability coverage, I'm not going to go too much. There's 3 different types of life coverage, and I can go over that in detail with you. And you need to have somebody who's willing to take the time to explain what those are. You know, most times I can have somebody get a term policy and that's okay, but not all the time. And so, you know, every situation, and I'll tell you examples, maybe they have a disabled child, maybe they're older in their life and they need coverage that's going to last them for the rest of their life. And they can't qualify for a term. Some people, their physical, they don't qualify because of ailments that they have. So we have to kind of customize, and that's what I do. I look at the overall person, the holistic person, and I look at what your needs are. So again, 30 plus different carriers that I have access to. I'm actually building 2 divisions of my team. I'm building people who are willing to do the financial piece, and I'm building people who want to do the health side. So if you know of people, please send them my way. Somebody who's licensed in the fields of financial services, or who has a passion for health and wealth, right? So the disability, we saw this in this last season. If you have it on your job, don't bypass that. Get your disability. A lot of people opt out of disability coverage, small and long term. You should never do that. Unless you have a fully funded emergency fund, you can then bypass small, short-term disability. If you don't, never bypass that beautiful option that your job provides you. If you are an entrepreneur, you need to secure this on your own. And you can call me and I can let you know about that. Invest in real estate. We got that already. I'm not going to even go down that road. Get a will. Who was talking about getting their will done? Somebody, Regina. I think it was Regina. Who was that? I don't know. Forgive me if I don't remember the name. She does legal. Who was it?
Nerissa, can you hear me? Oh, it's Dora. My legal shield, you get them done free.
Yes.
Wills and power of attorney.
Right. So there's so many resources, right? Both her and I have that resources. She's doing that as solely. Go to her. Support the community, right? Support your sisters. Protection is the foundation of a solid financial plan. So these are the things that protect you, protect your legacy. These are some of the things. Most of the things are right here on this screen. You need to make sure that you're doing these things, okay? The biggest budget buster. Can anybody tell me? I don't care. Yell it out. What's the biggest budget buster? Anybody?
Loss of employment.
Anybody else?
Loss of employment.
I'm gonna tell you. Food. It's the biggest budget buster. Food. Yes, because we are connoisseurs of all kinds of food. We're foodies. We like food. Doesn't matter what. We supersize. But every time I'm coaching somebody, this is the one item that is out of control. It was out of control in my budget. It was. I'll be the first to admit. Food, coffee, eating out, impulse food buying. Do not shop when you're hungry. Okay, we all know that. Stop doing it. Okay, because you have so much stuff in your house you don't even need it, and it wastes. We waste so much food. Okay, 3 ways to avoid this: meal planning and prepping. Get the whole family involved. Get the young people. Like I told you, I have a compound here, so everybody's they have a cooking night, and they are buying their food. They're looking up Whole30 recipes. Everybody needs to contribute. And that little one, he can stuff some stuff too. Your little people in your house, they can stuff some things when you're doing the meal prep. Put everybody to work. Everybody needs to earn their keep. Look, we need to all do something, okay? Divide up the cost. It can make a blessing in your household. Make a budget for your food, assign $1 to that, and stick to it, okay? So debt elimination. Use the debt snowball effect, the snowball effect. it's basically just taking your smallest to your largest, creating a chart, and then putting all these things on it: the name of the debt, the minimum payment, the balance, and a column for a timeline. Walk through that process, okay? So if you do this, this is key. Getting rid of that debt is key, especially when you move into trying to move forward into retirement. You got to get rid of that debt. Okay, so here it is. Make sure your debt elimination is priority. Use your dreams to fuel you. Okay, if you like tropical place, you want to live in a tropical place, that's your goal, then you're going to need to allow that to fuel all of what your drive is. Fund an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your income. You need that, right? Because if you're going to be effective at savings and debt elimination, you're going to have an emergency fund in place, and really use it when it's an emergency, not for buying a purse. Okay, so that is key right there. So pay yourself first. A lot of us are women of faith, and I believe there's a gentleman on the line, where people of faith. So pay yourself. I always, off the top, I try to give, right? But pay yourself as well. 10 to 15% of your income should be going to your savings, okay? Take advantage of your 401k. If you're not doing that, you need to at least be up to the match, okay? Whatever they're matching, if you have one on your job, go up to the match. Make your savings systematic. I can help you set up a Roth IRA. Roll over all the old 401ks into one, because we were working here, we were working there, and pull it together so you can maximize and let it work for you, right? Okay, so there's different alternate ways of saving things. I talked about a Roth IRA and annuities. So a lot of millennials, they're doing things a little bit differently, right? So we need to get on board. Social Security is not secure as we think, right? Especially now with things are going to be cut. Now, on the website, Social Security says at my age, now I'm 52, y'all, the year that I retire, it's supposed to be gone. And I believe it will be earlier than that, after this past year, okay? So we need to put things in place like a Roth IRA. You can fund it if you're below 50 or below, you can put up to $6,000 a year. 50 and above, you can put up to $7,000 a year. And that's tax-free in retirement money, okay? So it's already taxed when you're putting it in. So when you're in your retirement, you can pull it out and you don't have to be taxed on that money. That's important because your 401k is taxable money. So you want another vehicle that helps you. And I can elaborate one-on-one. So recap: life and disability, budget basics, debt elimination and savings, rolling over your options, estate planning, the long-term care in there. And again, that's something that's more one-on-one. And then business planning and employee benefits. These are the things that I work on and help my clients with, okay?
Awesome. Great job, Miss Nerissa. Thank you so much for your presentation. Excellent job. Why don't you go ahead and give our attendees here your contact information, just really quickly, your website, Facebook page, so that they know where to reach out to you for additional questions and more information.
Yes, I am a texter. So if you would take my number down and you would text me, and I can send you a link. You could text me and just put your name and I'm going to stop. So let's just say cancel that. No. Okay, get out of that. Okay, I don't know what's going on there, but it's 253-380-9978. And my email is Nerissa, it's Nerissa @Gen, that's GEN, healthwealth.com. That's
awesome.
Yes. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you. And I'm gonna stop touching stuff because I'm
Thank you so much, Miss Nerissa, for your presentation and for that great information regarding health, wealth, and just living a better life overall, you know. And as she said, health and wealth, they definitely go hand in hand. They go together, you know, because if you don't have good health, you know, you can't make any money to have wealth. So, you know, that's something it is that we want to look at, you know, as we start to build and shine that light on our financial, you know, on our, awakening our financial awareness in this year of 2020. So awesome job, Miss Nerissa and Miss Cabby, both of you. I truly appreciate you taking the time this evening to be a part of this event, Girl, Get Your Money Right. So for now, we have one more guest speaker for the evening, which I am honored to introduce to all of you. She brings an amazing story in regards to finance, the industry, but also too, she has a story that talks about employment, you know, and overcoming barriers, you know, and moving forward in life. So for some of you that do know her, I will reintroduce, and for those of you that don't know her, Miss Sylvia Young. She is a licensed life insurance agent, but also to a business owner starting her own business, Sylvia's Financial Services. So again, someone else it is that we have for you this evening to be able to reach out to and discuss budgeting, money management, you know, the whole works, you know, definitely someone else it is that you want to know. I have known Sylvia for, I don't know, over 30 years now. So it's been a very long time. But I wanted to bring her on this evening and allow her just to share her story, to give you a better understanding of overcoming barriers when situations occur financially, and being able to press on and move forward. So at this time, I'll go ahead and introduce Miss Sylvia Young.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming. All right, so let me share about myself. I'm born and raised in Seattle, Washington. Grew up in the south end of Seattle, Rainier Vista, lived there, Rainier Beach area, and also in the Central District, known as the CD. I just want to say, back when my brother and I were younger, my mother actually gave us allowance. So we got our little allowance every 2 weeks, and she'd always tell us, make sure you hold on to it because you're not getting any more, you know, but I always felt with that. And so for me, that was my first lesson of my finances as a child, but learning how to try to balance my money for 2 weeks at a time. I've always been interested in finances. As when I got into high school, I took an accounting class so I can learn about the debit and the credit side of things and learned that. So then after that, pretty much, I just was, well, nothing really too much into that, but here I am now. I'm a life insurance agent, and I'm a founder of my own business for Sylvia's Finances, is where I am today. So I'm a little nervous, but you know, I want to start off like with my employment, where I started with my first job was at Ivers. I was a shift manager there. So I got to deal with, you know, the cashier, the registers, depositing money. I got to run a crew. So I was able to do that with stability and function with that. I then became a bank teller, worked at US Bank there. So another thing, handling money, learning how to balance their money. It's like everything I learned there, I should have been applying it to my life. So it was like planting that seed into myself. So I worked there. Then I became a bookkeeper, worked there at Max Foods. And I balanced their books to the T, make sure everything balanced out to zero. You know, I had to make sure it was all good. Did deposits well there, balancing the tills out for the cashiers. Then I became a claims manager, dealing with health, medical, work with people there, making sure the bills and everything was balanced and people were being charged appropriately, which was, I enjoyed that job a lot. Then I became an employee at CenturyLink. The first department I was in, people send in their home phone bills. So I did that. I processed home phone bills. People send in cash through the mail. So I had to deposit that as well, balanced everything, make sure people's bills matched up like with their checks or whatnot. So it was a lot of 10 key going, but it was still dealing with like balancing for people. So I stayed there for 20 years. I was there for 20 years at CenturyLink until they decided to close the department I was in. So I just want to take you guys back a little bit to where it all began for me. back in 99, when I was 25 years old, I realized I'm $25,000 in debt. And it's just like, well, how did I get here? You know, and I needed to take control of this debt because it was killing me. It was really killing me. So in 92, I moved into my first apartment. And at that time, credit cards were sent to you in the mail and they were already approved. They was ready to go. So you didn't have to apply, nor did you have to do an application. It was just sign and charge. And I just remember my first credit card being Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo was my first credit card and I charged there. It's crazy because I still remember what my first charge was at Red Lobster. So I went to Red Lobster, so with that, I had those credit cards and a few more came in the mail and a few more I signed on the back and a few more I charged. Then I went to the retail stores. So I had to get me a Bon Marché, a Nordstrom's, a Mervyn's, Sears. And it was like, oh, this is easy. Let me get this, you know, and not thinking about somebody's got to pay this bill. So I'm racking all this money up and everything, getting myself, and I'm doing the minimum payment. So I'm like, okay, but then soon came, I had to start going to court to do a child parenting plan. And that became a long process. Court fees added up real quick, going in and out of court several times a year. And that's what really took me into the hole with debt. So it came down to a point to where I was paying rent, light, and then sometimes my car note. So I had to figure it out because I was already bad with money anyway. So adding that on did not help me at all. I was getting calls from debt collectors wanting their money. My bank account stayed overdrawn. Money Tree became my best friend. Borrowing money from friends became a new trend for my life. It's just, I could not get balanced. I'm still working at the telephone company. Yes, I'm making good money, working 40 hours plus overtime, but it was hard. It was frustrating. It was just a very hard. $25,000 debt. I decided to do a 5-year plan for myself. I was like, I got to get out of this debt because this is not the life I want to live and for my daughter. So what I did was, the first step I did was I called the credit bureau. I called them up so they can, I can understand my credit report because I didn't understand what all that stuff meant from A to Z in the report to understand it, what I can do with things that. What are you guys doing? I'm gone. Oh.
You're on it.
Okay, I'm back. Hi. I don't know what I just kind of disappeared. So I did that with the credit bureau and so I can understand what I needed to do, how long the processing would take for everything. And so also with the credit card companies, called them up and I asked them actually to hold the interest on the credit cards and told them I was going through a hardship. And they was like, oh, they did it in agreement. They did it for a year. And then they put me on a payment plan so I can catch up and I can be current with them. And I started with that. And also with my car note. At the time, they will let you put a note at the end of your contract. And so at the time, I thought it was a great idea. And what I did was took that money and added it on to a bill. So I could start getting these bills, coming down, quicker. I cut expenses. So I started also with my lowest bill to move up to the biggest bill. It didn't matter about the interest or not. It was the lower one, and then take that money and add it on to the next bill is what I did. I started researching online. I started talking to older people who had a mortgage to see how, because my plan was to get me a house. This is why I gave myself a 5-year plan between 25 and 30. I wanted a house by the time I was 30. So I talked to older people who had mortgages, how they did their savings, how they planned for their retirement and their bills and whatnot. And so to help me start getting some structure in the direction I was heading to for what I wanted for my daughter and I started a budget planner. that really helped me a lot. It helped me a lot to write down things and to see my debt. Whoever I was making a payment to was my debt. And so when I could see it, and then I knew what to do, and always helped me stay on track with that. I had to learn to pretty much change my thoughts to change my life. I had to go and understand my needs and my wants. My wants was what was keeping me down in debt, and I had to get out of that debt. So once I got my bills under control, paid everything, got my credit report cleared off, I took a home buyers class. I took a home buyers class, and then I ended up becoming a home renter in 2004. And so I got that, but I still wasn't like really in control of my debt. So, but I continued to educate and discipline myself so I can make money management permanent for my life, because which was still needed. I just feel like budgeting will be a part of my life, you know, forever, to help me keep me in that place. There was a time when I just moved to my house, and then my daughter, she was going to homecoming. And like I said, I still wasn't really good with my money. So I had to actually shake the money out my piggy bank. I took it out my piggy bank, and I was able to get her necessities for her homecoming, you know. So I made, you know, to make sure she was still able to do, you know, some things and enjoy her life too. So so what I did was started analyzing my bills every year. I made sure whatever I was paying for that I was using. I just didn't have something I wasn't, you know, I'm paying over for and not using that. You know, everything that's attached to my life, I have a why. I need to know why it's attached to my life. On that, I did auto deposit for my check. I distributed money into dedicated accounts. So I had a mortgage account, I had a bill account for auto pay and like regular bills. With that, I gave myself an allowance as well. So I started all that, which helped me start building that structure to really get, you know, to better build my finances, is what I would say. And I also did my retirement. So I funded my retirement, the 401k, then I started a Roth IRA outside of that because I need a future. I still need my future. So I needed to get that going on too. And then also what I did was each paycheck, I got paid twice a month. What I would do was look at what bills were due between each pay period. So I knew this first check would be for XYZ bills, and then whatever money was left over, and if it wasn't an emergency, I left that money in my account. And then when the next pay period, I used that money to pay the bills and whatnot. So I did that every month. So that way I could start building up my savings into my account, and, you know, making sure I was fully funding my retirement as well. Also, like I have a credit card that earns miles. So what I did was like, I got to pay bills. So I used that credit card, charge on there, put the money right back on the credit card, and I got to fly for free. Majority of the time, I always, so I made sure if I got the money, then I can use the credit card. If I didn't have the money, then I'm not using the credit card. You know, I had to really discipline myself with that. Because I love to travel. I love to get out because I believe it's more than work, home, and debt to life. And like you say, Nerissa was saying, you know, and health, because there ain't no health, there's no wealth. And so, you know, I said, okay, I got to get my health like my finances so I can get that Coke bottle shape. You know, I got to get there, you know. And so it is very important with that. So what I've learned is to stay in my financial lane, and to, and also, you know, is because you come out of it, I'm more in debt. And sometimes I'll veer off the road, you know, and then I'll get right back in it, you know, to remind myself. And so with everything I've experienced, the jobs and everything, and going through this, you know, it's got me to where I'm at now for my mission, and to help others as well, to realize, you know what, it's a beautiful thing to be debt free. You know, you think different, you move different, everything about it. And it's a wonderful life. So like with the COVID 2020 hitting us, I mean, who would have thought a virus would come into play and disrupt some people's finances, you know? And it's just like, you want to have that, you know, that movement to be able to do what you want to do. And with the job, when CenturyLink told us back, and it was 2015, they was closing the department, it's like, okay, some people were like devastated. What do you do now? But I was already in a comfortable position financially to where I'm like, okay, it's time for me to venture onto something new and not depend on this job, which is just over broke, or someone to give me employment, but to start my own ownership. And that's the biggest thing. And what I encourage, a lot of friends and family to do, look into your own ownership, because this employer thing is not guaranteed. They always have that fine line, it's in the needs of the business. And they always can just let you go, at their leisure. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter how good of a job you do. Oh, you made the score rack up, you put extra bonuses in the manager's pockets. Everybody is just the ID number, and that's it. Thank you. You did your job and goodbye. And so it's just like encouraging and building together, as a community, and we can work this. We really can build, we come together. So that is my story on that. So, okay. But thank you, everybody.
Yes. Awesome job. Awesome job, Sylvia. Excellent job in sharing your story in employment, and then being let go, but overcoming barriers and continuing to move forward, and those are the kind of characteristics it is that we need, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as people. It is, just to definitely move forward, So again, these ladies have given their time this evening to us. I would like to go ahead and open up the floor for any questions it is at all that you may have at this time that you would either like to ask Cabby, Nerissa, or Sylvia. Any questions out there?
I have a question for Cabby. What's that? Oh, I thought somebody said something. My question is, when you're purchasing a home, and she talked about flipping, and she kept reiterating that you have to stay in there for 1 year, 2 years. Is there a specific amount of time that you have to stay in there before you can do anything as far as flipping or rental property, anything like that?
Is Miss Cabby still on, Jessica?
I see her. Oh,
There she goes.
Okay, she's coming.
Sorry, my kids just walked in the door. Hello.
Go ahead.
I missed it. I was in the door for my kid.
So you were talking about staying in a home for like a year or 2 or 3, and then either flipping it or rental property. Is there a specific amount of time that you have to stay in the property before you can do anything like flipping or renting?
No. So no, actually you don't. That's a great question. So if you want to flip a house and you want to reside in the home, typically if you want to not have to get hit with some of the taxes, you want to stay for 2 years, but you can sell within the year if you want to.
Okay. So just to avoid the tax, fees, a couple of years is best to sit on it before. Okay, thank you.
But if, sometimes it outweighs, the market's hot and you should sell,
Right, okay.
Awesome. Any other questions? Is that Miss Theodora?
Yes, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, well, this question is for Nerissa. Actually, I have like 2 questions. Let me first mention for Nerissa. Nerissa, I was noticing in Primerica, I love me some Primerica. And when you were saying about, you asked that question about what is your financial something, I was going to say be debt-free and financially independent.
Oh, that's so
Does
good.
that sound familiar?
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, that used to be one of our mottos in Primerica. And also I noticed the products that you were showing, the health products, the natural products.
Yes.
A lot of those look like they were from, what's it called? Melaleuca.
Yeah. Yep, it is. Those are Melaleuca products because they do have a natural brand.
All natural.
They're all natural. Yeah. Yeah. That is the health.
I think I've elevated.
So you're familiar with them.
I think I'm like, y'all done living everything. But I used to be a Melaleuca. Matter of fact, I'm probably just gotta just get it right back. I love Melaleuca products.
Well, just
You
give
know,
me a
they
call,
really
honey.
have a lot of
Look,
good
give me a
natural
call.
beauty.
It's
You
so
still
good.
got
It's so
you still
good.
got your
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
can get right back into it. Just had let it go for a few years, but I love Melaleuca. Yeah, I just had
Yeah,
my
it's just
upline to get my sister some natural products.
well, yeah, it is. It's just so good. The products are so awesome because a lot of them are they're the
Yeah.
essential oils and just really good
Right.
natural things that instead of getting all those chemicals, it's better to use something that's natural and focused in that area, and you'll be healthier. You feel healthier,
Yeah.
when you use them.
You
I don't
do.
know. You do. You know
Yeah.
the difference. Yeah.
You really do. I love Melaleuca. And also, I wanted to ask you all about the housing part. Like I said, we moved from San Francisco here to Seattle, and we're making Seattle our home now. We love it here. And the house we're blessed to be living in, it was purchased for us. We just pay rent, but it was purchased for us. But my husband is a veteran, and he has his whatever it's for, ODD, whatever his 3, 4, the veterans thing, and we've never used. So we really wanted to look into, purchase a real estate for ourselves, a house for ourselves, like a income property type thing. So maybe if one of you or both of y'all could get with me, after whatever, on one-on-one, you can help me out with that. Appreciate us. You and who was the other?
Cabby.
Oh,
Cabby would be the
Cabby,
one.
right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, just Cabby. I thought you did real estate too.
I do have a real.
Is it just Cabby?
I just have property. I'm not an agent. I just have property. So I do development.
So
You
it's
know what I
just
mean?
Cabby.
Like I have a
Okay.
detached garage where I'm trying to get it developed so that I can use it. And so I'm not Cabby would be the lady that you want to work with on that for real estate.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, let me throw this out since you mentioned about this garage. My husband's actually a handyman. Really, really, really good. He's a professional furniture finisher too. Yeah, so if y'all ever need his services, he's available.
Well, it seems like we do need to connect, Miss.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's connect.
Are there any other questions for our guest speakers tonight?
Yes, I do. Can everyone hear me? This is Tamara.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Go ahead, Tamara.
And Cabby, I did see that you put your contact information there, but I missed it. Whizzed by.
Me too. I need it too.
I wanted to get that, but I wanted to ask you a question about earnest money. A few years ago, I invested in a real estate investing course, and I never really got to really utilize it. And I just had a few questions about it. I mean, the whole thing that was touted in the course was that you never have to use your own money. But then I ran into the earnest money question. And so what does earnest money look like? I mean, what type of amounts is it? And what are the funding sources for it?
That's why I said that a lot of people can pull from their 401k and different things. So in the event that you were to, write an offer on a home and the earnest money acts as a deposit. So basically you want to make sure that you have an earnest money and that you always, always, always use remedy of earnest money versus seller remedy of funds, right? In the transaction. That's the first page of the purchase and sale agreement for everybody in Washington State. They're all using the same form. So what that earnest money does is it protects the buyer in the event that you get cold feet, or let's say you have to relocate. Anything can happen in 30 days of a closing, right? And at the very end of a closing, if you decide, I can't buy this house, I don't want to buy this house for whatever reason it is, and you have no more contingencies left on play with, you have no more contingencies to pull out from the transaction, the earnest money is what you forfeit. So you give up however much money you put down at that earnest money. For new construction and luxury homes, that earnest money can be $10,000, $20,000. For a rehab, a smaller home, I've seen earnest monies as small as $1,000. Typically in a hot market like what we're dealing with, we're seeing about 1% of the purchase price for earnest money. For homes like, let's say you buy a house in Tacoma that's a 3-bedroom, 2 baths, or a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and the price point is under $400,000, you can, anything that's under $400,000 or $500,000, the earnest money can be significantly lower because they realize on the other end that we're dealing with someone that's maybe a first-time home buyer or that doesn't have a lot of liquid cash, right? And they may still accept that offer. So for instance, this one I just told you guys about, I wrote her earnest money for $2,500. In the event that she decides to pull out of this transaction, she's going to take $2,500 is going to be forfeited. However, if you have done a first-time home buyer class, or if you've done a first-time home buyer class and you have the certificate to buy first-time home buyer, and they're gifting you some of those some of that money for your down payment, the earnest money goes towards your down payment at closing. So whatever you owe at the end, that earnest money goes towards that. So it's not like you pay $2,500 or $5,000 and then that money goes to nowhere. It goes towards the ending of your amount. So if you put down a $5,000 earnest money and you owe $10,000 at the end of to get to closing, and you have to bring $10,000 to the table, you only really have to bring $5,000 to the table because $5,000 was already, right? Just to be like really easy numbers, right? But in the event that you did a course where they covered your whole down payment and you didn't have to bring anything to the table, after closing, you may actually get credited that money back from escrow. They may end up writing you a check for that $5,000 back if you did like first-time home buyer program and they put down 4%, they were able to cover 4%, that 4% covered your whole down payment plus some of your closing costs, and you didn't have anything left on the table. Oftentimes I give my buyers earnest money back, but it comes, 2 weeks later, because escrow has to process the funds and the transaction has to close. But 2 weeks later, they get that $2,500 check and they're pretty happy, if we've done it right and we can, maneuver the numbers to work in their favor. In this kind of market that we're dealing with in the next couple months, we don't see as much of that, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening or that it can't happen, right? It just means it has to be the right house and the right numbers have to work out for that buyer. We just kind of got flooded. The inventory is really low. So we're seeing a lot less of those negotiations like that where the sellers are paying closing costs and we're getting that cash refund. But definitely, if you're interested in purchasing a home, definitely have some money saved up for the earnest money because that is something that you have to put up front. We used to see like maybe 5-6 years ago, we saw a lot of promissory note earnest money. So you would promise to give this amount of money and that was a letter that you signed in the contract. We don't see that at all anymore. So you should have that earnest money or an amount of money to put down as the earnest money, even if you're planning to get that earnest money back at the end.
I see. So it sits in an escrow.
It's escrow, yep, with the closer.
Got it. Thank you.
A selling firm could hold it as well. So you may see that. So that might, you may, I don't want to give you mixed information, but a selling firm like the buyer's agent's firm could also hold your escrow check. My firm that I own, we don't hold escrow checks. We just eliminate that. So we always put it right into escrow.
Okay. Thanks.
All of our agents. Was that helpful? Did that answer?
Can I get your phone number?
That was very helpful. I see I've gotten your information in the chat there. Okay.
Okay, yeah. And feel free to text me, call me, whatever. I always have my phone on me.
Okay, great.
Where's your information, Gabby? Cabby? Where's your contact information?
Right in the chat.
Yeah, she put it in the chat. But Theodora, I'll make sure that you get.
Oh, I gotta click this chat.
Yeah, my phone number is 206-631-1587. If anybody wants to just write it down, if it's easier than looking through the chat.
And I will make sure that you all get each other's contact information too. So
great.
Yeah, to help
make life easier. Yes. Any other questions?
Cute picture, you girl.
Right. Well, you can you also give to me Tamara's phone number or website for Miss Tamara?
I can type that into the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions for our guests tonight, our guest speakers that we have?
I just have a quick question for Nerissa about the warm smoothies. I have never heard of a warm smoothie. Do you have recipes, or how do you make your warm smoothies?
I do, and that's a lot to do here on this, but if you want to contact me directly,
okay,
text me, girl. I'll send it to you. It is so good. It is so good.
Okay.
I would love to share it with you.
Thank you.
So sharing is caring. That's what it's all about. Definitely. Well, are there any other last questions or concerns? Anything it is that we have before we wrap up our first virtual event, Girl Get Your Money Right, for 2021? Anything else? All right. Great job, ladies. I thank you so much for your time this evening and truly appreciate all of you, Miss Cabby, Miss Nerissa, and Miss Sylvia Young. Our guests tonight just sharing their stories. Yes, their business. Big round of applause for these ladies. Yes.
So needed to network and connect with the community. Yeah.
That's exactly it. And that's what it is that we're all about here at Women in Business Expo Group. And as I said in the beginning, I normally do these empowerment sessions, these events every fourth Wednesday of the month. I am working on our next guest for the month of March. So since you all have attended this first event, you are now in the Women in Business Expo Group database. So you will be receiving emails and updates on upcoming events and what's to come. So definitely continue to check your emails. Also to take a look at the Facebook page, Women in Business Expo Group. I put a lot of updates, upcoming events, kind of what's going on, the radio show link there too. And remember, if you have know of any business owners that want to share their story, or you're one yourself and want to share your story on the radio and would love to be interviewed, you can definitely reach out to me. I would love to get you on my calendar and put you on the show too. So definitely. Again, I thank you all for attending tonight's event, Girl Get Your Money Right. And hopefully I will see you again next month, fourth Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. We will be here with another empowerment session from Women in Business Expo Group. So again, I thank you all for attending tonight and look forward to seeing y'all next month.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Great job. Great job, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.